Like one of the ulama said, you were sent to call people, not to judge people. Only Allah can judge people. You know, if somebody is born into a house and as a little kid and they're molested from the time they're like 2 years old or something like that, and they're so messed up and they end up on drugs and crack cocaine or whatever. I'm not going to judge that person. That's for God to judge that person. I'm not going to judge that person. So we're living in a world where the Sharia is judges. If you're a qadi, you have to judge. But the qadi should judge with fear and trepidation. And that's why the Prophet said 2 qadis in hell, 1 in Jannah. You should judge with fear and trepidation. So, we don't know. People say they're atheists. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what led them to that point and how God's going to judge them. One of the things that I find interesting about atheists, and I think this has to be appreciated by somehow, is that they do more dhikr than God than most believers. They just think about God all the time. They write books about God. Every conversation you get in with an atheist, within 2 minutes, they're talking about God. It's amazing. They're just obsessed with God. And in some ways, their opinion of God is so high that they end up disbelieving in him. It's like their opinion is so high that I can't believe in God. I can't believe in a God that will allow pedophilia. I can't believe in a God. These are the arguments a lot of them use. And who is it for me to say that's rubbish? You're just saying that. And there's certain, the cheese and cracker crowd, having their wine and eating I don't know how these people can believe in God, really. It's really quite absurd. They're imaginary friends, that kind of, there's a certain arrogance of those type people. But some of the people in the greatest tribulation are the biggest believers. That's what's so amazing about people in really difficult, dire circumstances, and yet they don't give up their faith in God. They believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, it's just not for us to judge people, And people can move in and out of faith. You shouldn't feel so secure about your faith. You should ask Allah for husn al-khatima and be concerned about that. There's Christians that have lost their faith. That's why these Christians say, I ask a Muslim, they always doubt whether they're going to heaven or not. They don't know, but we know we're going to heaven. You don't know. There's Christians that ended up leaving Christianity, becoming atheists. Bart Ehrman, writing books, why it's not true. And they were devout fundamentalist Christians. So people can lose their faith. Muslims lose their faith. There's people that lose their faith in Islam. But why and what are the reasons and what led up to that? I don't know. There's people that drive people out of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said that he was the advocate for the dhimmi that was mistreated on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Like he's going to be his lawyer with God to say he didn't see the real Islam. He was mistreated by Muslims. He said that, Ana khasmu man adha dhimmiyan Yawm al-Qiyamah. I'm the advocate of a dhimmi on the Day of Judgment. So he's going to actually say, don't judge him the way you would judge somebody else, because what happened to him wasn't right. So there's going to be people, Imam al-Ghazali says that if Islam was presented in a distorted way and somebody rejects it, they're not rejecting true Islam, they're rejecting a distortion. And he says that he didn't think they'd be taken into account for that. He says that in Faisal al-Tafriqa. So